Hi, this is Jacob here, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to build a professional multi-page user form in Excel. This is how I started learning VBA more than 10 years ago, by building multi-page user forms that streamline and automated data entry for forecasting modules in my job. This saved me so many hours and gave me tools to make good forecasting predictions. So I learned how to streamline and automate my workflow in my job. In this video, I'll show you how to build a professional 5-page Excel form that works like a real app. Beginner friendly, no add-ins, and fully functional by the end. Let's jump into it.
All right, let's get started. The only two things I did before saving the Excel workbook up here, save as, and set it to Excel macro enable workbooks. That's very important, otherwise the codes will not work. And then the second thing, I named the sheet orders. That's where our data will go. Order F11, go to Visual Basic, insert user form. Then we're going to change the name for the user form and call it FRM order form. And let's copy paste this, because we're also going to name it in the caption here, and we can do a space in between. Order form. Then we're going to set the size. Let's set the height to 380 and the width to 540. Like this. And then we have our multi-page here that we stretch out on the whole form here. Right click here, new page, and new page. Because in this tutorial we're going to create a multi-page user form with 5 pages. And we're going to hide these tabs and navigate going to the next sheet and going back and forth with command buttons. Going back button here and next button. We're going to create the whole user form design first, and then we're going to code it afterwards and test it along the way and do some styling. On this page, we're going to have full name, email address, customer type, and a checkbox asking if the person is subscribed to our email list. And then we're going to have a command button that goes to the next page. Let's start with the labels. And let's change it to bold and size 10. We will call this full name. And down here, we will call it LBL name. Let's copy this. This one we will call email address. We call it LBL email. And the last one, that's the type. So we're going to call that customer type and label it LBL type. Then we need 2 text boxes and a command button. We have our text box here, and we're going to call that txt name. Let's copy paste this down here. And we're going to call that txt email. So we have txt name here and txt email. Then we need a combo box. Let's just set the width the same, 175, 175. And call this CMB type. And then we're going to have a checkbox asking if they are subscribed to our email list. So in the caption here, we can call it subscribed to email list, question mark. And let's just change it to bold also, and 9, something like this. And we're gonna call that CHK subscribed. And then we will have our command button. Let's put it down here. And we can write next and call it CMD next one, because this is our next button, the first button that we will have on all the pages except the last one. I just discovered that we put all these elements on the 5th page. It should be on the 1st page, but it doesn't matter because all we do is just highlighting everything and move it to page 1. So Control X, Control V. No harm, no done. So now it's all removed from page 5 to page 1. This is our front page, our 1st page. Let's also change it here to bold and maybe 12. Yeah, that looks good. So that's the 1st page. Let's move on to page number 2. All right, on this page, we're gonna have the shipping address, delivery method, whether it's standard, express, pickup, and then we can have a checkbox that marks it express delivery. And then we're gonna have 2 command buttons. And next, that will go to the next page, so go to page 3, and a go back button that goes to the 1st page. Let's just start by copying the next button here. Placed here. And we might as well name it right away. CMD next to. Copy paste it. And this will be our go back. And that we're gonna call CMD back to. I mean, this will be our first go back button, but I just labeled them for the page we're on. So go back 2, go back 3, go back 4, next 4, and so on. Then we're gonna have 2 labels here. Let's just copy it so it has the same structure. This will be the shipping address. And we're gonna label it LBL address. Address with 2 Ds. And then the next label, that's the delivery method. We're gonna label it LBL shipping method. Then we're gonna have a text box. Again, let's just copy it from the other page. And this is the shipping address. So it needs to be expanded in height here. And we're gonna name that txt address. And what is important here, we need it to be a multi-line here, set that equal to 2. So we can write multiple lines in this box. Then we need a comma box. Change the height to 18 and call it CMB shipping method. In this combo box, we will have 3 selections, 3 items: standard, express, and pickup. But more about that later when we code it. Then we're gonna have a checkbox. Let's just copy this. with the caption mark as express delivery, and the name will be CHK express delivery. That's it for page 2. We have our go back button here and our next button here. Moving on to page number 3. Alright, on page 3 we will have some labels, text boxes, the go back command button and next command button. And we're also going to have a clear item and 2 list boxes. Let's start with the 2 buttons. Go back and next, copy them to page 3 because we will also need them here. And we can call the next button CMD next 3. And the go back button we can call it CMD back 3. Then let's insert some labels, and to keep the design let's just copy paste them from the other page. The first label is the product list we need, and we're gonna call that available products. We call it LBL product list. Then the next label is the quantity. We're gonna call that quantity and call it LBL UTY, shortened for quantity. The next is the payment. Let's insert the label first. We're going to call that payment method and call it LBL payment method. And then we're going to have 2 list boxes here. Those are the available products. We're going to call that LST products. Copy paste it and insert it next to it. And we're going to call that LST order preview. Then we're going to copy paste this command button and insert it here and call that clear items. And call it CMD clear items. So the idea is we have products here. Then we'll also need a add button here. Maybe insert it here. And we're gonna call that add items and name it CMD add items. And then we're gonna have a text box on a combo box. Let's copy it here. This is the quantity text box. Maybe we don't need it to be this big. We're gonna label it TXT quantity or QTY. And a combo box here. Let's copy it down to the payment method. And call it CMB payment method. That's it for page 3. Maybe we can move these things around a little bit to improve the design. But the idea on this page is we select an available product, we tell the system how many we want of it, we add them, and you can see a preview of all the products you've listed. And if you made a mistake, you can also clear the whole box and start over. And then you select your payment method. If it's cash or card, how we're going to set it up. Now let's move to page number 4. So let's start again by copy pasting the go back and next button, because we're going to need them on this page as well. And to keep the consistency, we're going to call this CMD back 4. And this CMD next 4. Then we're gonna have some labels, a text box, a checkbox, and another text box. Let's start with the labels. Copy paste it here. This is our additional notes, and label it LBL notes. Copy paste it. Referral code. And here they can enter a referral code if they have a referral code. Call it LBL referral. Then we're gonna have a text box. Let's copy this because we need the multi-line down here. Multi-line true. We need this as well on our additional notes here. So we're gonna call that txt notes, and then we're gonna have a referral code down here. I'm gonna call that txt referral code. And actually before this section, we have a checkbox. I believe we set this to bold and 9, the other checkboxes. And we're gonna have a checkbox where the user can check this if the gift needs to be wrapped up. So we can call it gift wrap order question mark and name it GHK gift wrap. Move it down a little bit. And that's it for page 4. Let's move on to the final page, page 5. Alright, this page is gonna be a little bit different because we're gonna not have a next button because it's the last page. So we're only gonna copy the go back button here and call it CMD back 5. Then we're gonna have 2 other buttons. And this one will be the submit. So we submit the order to the data sheet here. So the data gets filled into the sheet. That's the idea with this button. Submit, CMD, submit. And this will be our clear form. So if we want to write a new order, then we need to clear the whole form and start over on page 1. So you can start over and make a new entry. So we're going to call that clear form. And write CMD clear form. Let's for now just put them here. We're gonna do some layout changes when I'm done with this page. Then we need 2 labels. The first one, I'm gonna call that review your order and submit below. Let's expand it. Maybe let's change it, the font. First, let's name it LBL summary and change it to 12 maybe. Yeah, that looks good. Then we're gonna have here, we're just gonna call this used for full order review text and call this LBL status. And the user will not see this text because the idea behind is when we click on this next button, it will update this caption of this label status, LBL status, to full text preview. Which reminds me, we need to expand it here. So we make sure we can have everything listed here. So we have our elements here. Let's do some quick changes here. And write submit order. And we're gonna change this, make it, yeah, let's say 126 here. Do it for this one also. Clear all. And then let's change this. Maybe do 18. Just so it's big and it stands out. Yeah, I like this better. Let's test this here. Remember, these tabs will not be visible. It's just to preview to see how it looks. Yeah, overall it looks good, but let's make this even more clear. There's add items to order. Then it's more clear. Yeah, I think overall it looks good. So let's move on. All right, let's start coding the form now. Let's start to code the UserForm initialize here. So if we double click here, I'm going to select the UserForm. And then we're going to change it to initialize. Let's get rid of this. This is basically when you're loading the UserForm, then we can do some settings here. So we're going to first of all hide these tabs on the top, because we're going to navigate through the tabs with the pages. So we're going to write ME multi-page page 1 dot style equal FM tab style equal none. So now the tabs are gone here. Or not gone, they're just not visible. And then we want it to start up in the front page, in page 1 as default. So we're going to do that by writing me dot multipage 1 dot value equal 0, because the first page here, page 1, have an index of 0. Index here is 0, and page 2 here is index 1, and so on. Then we're going to do a me.startup position, set that equal to 0, and do a me left, set that equal to application dot left plus application dot width divided by 2 minus me dot width divided by 2. And then we're going to do the same for the top. So we're going to do a me dot top, set that equal to application dot top plus application dot height divided by 2 minus me dot height divided by 2. That's it. Then we're gonna call a style module to style the form, but we haven't written the style form yet, so I'm just gonna comment this out. Style the bottoms. We're gonna do that at the last part of this tutorial. So we're gonna call the style form. So I've commented this out because it would not be able to find this submodule because we haven't written it yet. Then we're going to populate our drop downs. So the custom type, the delivery method, the payment method. Yeah, that's it. Let's just write here, populate drop down, basically populate our combo boxes. So we're going to do with CMB type. It recognizes it here. Change the T to a capital T. Then we're going to do a .clear, .add item, new, .add item, returning. Then we're going to do an end with. Next, we're going to do a with CMB shipping method. We're going to do a .clear again, and .add item standard, .add item express, .add item pickup. End with CMB payment method, .clear, .add item cash, .add item card, .add item bank. And the final one, we're going to do a with LST products. That's the list box, not the combo box. Then we're going to do a clear here again, .add item, and then just have 3 products here. Wireless mouse, .add item Bluetooth keyboard, .add item USB-C docking station, which actually sounds pretty cool. End with. That's it. Let's test. Yeah, let's test it. And I found an error here. We're gonna end this with statement. Yeah, for testing, we need to comment this out because this button doesn't work yet. But we have the new and returning here. We have the delivery method, standard express pickup, and we have 3 products here. So when we add them to the order, it goes here in a preview and we can clear it. Then we have cash, card, bank as payment methods. That's it. Let's leave this comment out for now because we probably need more testing. So that's the user form initialize. The next thing we're going to code here is the next button that goes to page 2. So let's double click here, make some space here. And then we're going to write if trim txt name .value equals blank, then that means the name hasn't been filled out. So we need to make it exit sub and do an end if and leave a message to the user to let the user know that he or she is missing to fill in the required boxes. In this case, the name. So we're gonna write a message box here, msg box, and write something like, please enter the customer's full name, comma, VB explanation. So what I mean is, if we haven't filled this in, it needs to say, please enter the customer's full name, and it shouldn't allow the user to go and jump to page 2. So we are going to do that for the email and the custom type as well. Not this thing because maybe they are not subscribed to the email list, but for these 3 elements. Yeah, let's just copy this and make it faster. So this time is the text email. So if the email text box is blank, then we need to have another message here. And we can write, please enter customer's email address. Access up and end if. So now it's also gonna do it if we have John Doe here, but we haven't filled in this. Please enter the customer's email address. And then if we have the email address here, it should also check if this box is empty. This one is a little bit different. We're gonna set it up with if cmb type dot list index equals -1, then, and -1 basically just means there is no selection. Then we're gonna have a similar message box here. We're gonna write, please select a custom type. Same format with exit sub and end if. But if all these things are true, that all these things, 3 elements, have a value, then we allow it to jump to the next page. We're going to do a multi-page 1.value equal 1. Now it goes to page 2, which has the index of 1, because the index starts at 0 here. This is index 0. Index 0 here, and it jumps to index 1 if all these is filled in. Let's test it. Please enter the custom full name, John Doe. Please enter a customer's email address, john.doe@example. Please select the customer type. And that's a new. This we can just say subscribed. And now we jump to page number 2. Then let's start coding this, because this is quite simple. It should just jump back to the previous page. So multi-page 1.value equals 0. Go back here. Let's code the next button. Let's code the next button. Here we need to make sure that the shipping address and the deliver method is not blank. This is also a box we don't have to check. Either it is marked as express delivery or not. So we're going to do it similar here and write if trim txt address dot value. If that's equal blank, then message box and exit sub end if. And we're gonna write something like, please enter the shipping address. And I'm also gonna do a VB exclamation. Let's test it at the end. And here we're gonna write a if cmb shipping method dot list index equal -1 again, then exit sub end if plus a message box inside the if statement. Copy paste this and write, please select a delivery method. And then we go to the page 2. We're going to do a multi-page 1.value equal 2. Let's test it here. We have to fill this in. We have tested this already. Let's say address ABC, just something here. And then please select a delivery method. We want it with pickup. And now we jump to the next page. Moving on to page number 3. All right, so here we have 2 more things we need to code. We have to go back the next, as we have it as the last page, but we also have to add items to order that gets the preview here, and then clear items to clear this list box. Let's start with the go back button. That's the simple one, where we do multi-page 1.value equal 1. Go back to the previous page. Then we're going to code the add item to order. So when we select here and write a quantity, it goes into this box as an overview where you can see where you've added. So here we're gonna write dim selected product as string. Then we're gonna dim quantity as string. And then we're gonna validate the input from a list box to see if we have selected when we click add. So we're gonna write if lst products dot list index equal -1, then that means we haven't selected anything. So we're gonna do a exit sub and end if and let the user know that they need to select the product. Please select a product and do a VB exclamation again. So this is basically what we have been doing. Please select the product. And now when we have, it should write the wire mouse. No, actually it should say please select the quantity. And then if we put in 2 here, then it should write wireless mouse 2. So we're gonna code the rest now. Then we're gonna do a if trim txt qty shortened for quantity dot value. If that's equal blank, then again exit sub and end if, and a message box inside of the if statement, letting the user know that they need to enter a valid quantity. We're gonna write please enter a valid quantity dot VBA explanation. Then we're gonna do a selected product, set that equal to lst products dot list lst products dot list index, and set qty equal txt qty dot value. And then we're gonna add to order preview. So we're gonna do a lst order preview dot add item and use the selected product. Do an and here and combine it with a string qty, and do an and combine it with a qty with that we have defined up here from our quantity text box basically. And then we're gonna reset the inputs. So when you add it, list selection and quantity text box get cleared. lst product dot list index, set that equal -1, and the txt qty dot value equal blank. Let's test it. So on page 3 here, please select the product. Please enter a valid quantity. So now we have selected wireless mouse and selected 2 quantity. Add items to order, and we have a preview here, wireless mouse quantity 2, and it clear the selection here and the box. And we can keep adding. Let's have 3 Bluetooth keyboards and maybe 1 USB-C docking station and so on. And now we're gonna code this so it clears the selections, the preview here, in case we made a mistake. All right, let's code the clear item command button here. Double tap here, make some space, and we're gonna do a if lst order preview dot list count equals 0, then a message box, exit sub, and end if, because that means we haven't had a selection. We haven't added anything. Message box, no items to clear. VB information. No item to clear. But if it passed this if statement, That means there is something to clear, and we can write it with dim confirm clear as VB MS box result confirm clear. Set that equal to MS box. Are you sure you want to clear all added items? So we're basically just gonna give the user a chance to confirm that they want to clear the full selection. Comma VB yes and no plus VB question, comma clear items. And then we're gonna do a if confirm clear equal VB yes, then we're gonna use the LST order preview dot clear and write a message box order items clear, comma VBN information, and if we don't want it to do anything if we say no. What I mean by this is clear items. Are you sure you want to clear the added items? No, nothing happens. Yes, and then it clears and comes with a confirmation box order items cleared, and it will clear everything. It will clear the whole list. We could also have it select each item and clear the one we've selected, but for this training we are not going to do this. I can make another video how to do that. Now we're gonna finally code the next button and move on to the next page. We're gonna start with an if statement to validate if they have filled in the boxes correctly. Similar to the other pages, do if lst order preview dot list count equals 0, then they haven't selected. So we're gonna do an exit sub and an endif plus a message box inside of the if statement. We're gonna do an ms box please add at least one product to order, comma VBA exclamation, and then we're going to do a if CMB payment method dot list index message box please select a payment method, comma VBA exclamation. But if the user have selected these two things, a product and a payment method, then we're gonna allow them to go to multi-page 1, set that multi-page 1 value equals 3, which is jumping to page number 4. Let's just pick one mouse here. No, actually 2 mouses here just to test it. Please select the payment method, card, and it jumps to page number 4. All right, we're on page 4, and the go back button here is simple. We're gonna do a multi-page 1 value, set that equal to 2. So it jumps back to page 3 here. And then let's code the next button. I allowed myself to just copy paste the code in because that's just the summary text here. You remember what we have here when we click this button, it jumps to page 5 and basically updates this label status with all our selected items and addresses and basically all the information we've written so far. So it's just to speed up this training video, so you can just copy paste it yourself. This code, either pause it or go to the description of this video. I have pasted this snip code in the description. We call it next button 4, because what it basically is just gonna DM the summary text a string and set the summary text equal, we have a text here, text submitted, VB CRLF, and basically skipping a line here and using the summary text and have a customer and use the name, then skip a line. The next summary text is the email and use the email value we've entered, skip a line, use the summary text with the shipping, and then use the combo box shipping method, skip a line, and use the items, and then we have the summary text here with the list preview and listed all the price and quantity we have selected, and it's creating these symbols for each item just to make it look good. We're gonna see that in a minute, and then we're gonna have the label status caption the summary text, so all this combined together. Before testing it, let's code these 3 things on page 5 because we're almost there. Let's start with the easy one. Go back bottom here, do a multi-page 1 dot value and set that equal to 3. Quick testing here, jumping back to page 4. Done. Let's submit the order. We're gonna write all the things we've been filling in the form to the sheet here. So all the data get entered. And I just decided that for each product you list, it gets its own row. So if you add 3 products, you basically get 3 lines. And some of the information will be the same, like the address and your payment method and shipping address and all these things. But each product you add to your order will have its own line for context. So we double click on submit order here. And then we're gonna write dim ws as worksheet. And we're gonna set ws equal this workbook.sheets orders. Then we're gonna dim next row as long. We're gonna dim I as long. We're gonna dim line path as string. Line paths as string. We're gonna dim product name as string. And we're gonna dim QTY as string, the quantity. Then we're gonna do for I equals 0 to LST order preview dot list count. Set that equal to -1. So it loops through all the items, and then we get the next available row. Set that equal WS cells WS rows count, and use the first column dot end Excel up dot row plus 1. Basically the last row plus 1 row below that. That's where the data is going to be written into the orders sheet, the sheet named orders. Then we're going to split the product and quantity into parts. We're going to do a line parts equal split LST order preview dot list I comma quantity. So basically the text we have between the 2 values. Then we're gonna do a if statement. If ubound line parts equal 1, then product name equal line parts 0, and product quantity equal line parts 1, else product name equal lst order preview dot list I, and product qty equal blank, end if. And then we're gonna write each item as a new row. So we're gonna do a with ws dot cells next row comma 1, meaning the first column, dot value equal txt name dot value, and we're gonna do a end with here and next I. We need a lot of more lines in here because this only writes down the first value in the first column, the name. I just want to make sure we finish the code here. It's all nice and clean. So what we're gonna do here is copy this line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we need all the way to 14. Let's speed this up. Like so. So we have the first column here with the name, and we've set it to write something in all the columns, correct columns. But we don't want it to write the name in all the columns. So let's change it one by one. And we have in column 14 an extra element here. We're just going to write now, which stamps the time and date. An important part of your VBA coding journey is also be able to identify when you made a mistake, an error. And I can see I've put a equal sign here. We don't need that. So it's a for. So we're going to write for I equal 0 to list order preview list count -1. And in column 8 and 9, we don't need these dot value because we're not referring to a text box or a control, but we're actually referencing to these we define up here. All right, before testing it, let's code the last bottom here. We're almost done. So we're gonna make some space here, and then we're gonna just clear all the boxes, and the check boxes we're gonna set value equals false. That's how you remove the check mark in the box if that's checked. And yeah, let's just speed this up. All right, and then we need the clear button to go to the first page. So we're gonna do the multi-page 1 dot value, set that to 0, so it goes to the first page. Actually, let's change this. That's just the selecting if we have selected an item in the order preview. So we're gonna do a lst order preview dot clear. Now before testing it, I like to always have a button here, and we also need to have the headers here. So basically, if we're gonna go to Visual Basic and insert a module here, and we're gonna write sub open form. I'll also copy it down here, and then we're gonna write frm order form dot show. That's how we're gonna open it. Just write a button here. And label it open form. So it opens the form. Then two things. Now we're gonna activate these tabs so it open up the form with the tabs hidden here. Now we're gonna do a little bit of styling and then we're gonna test it. First we go to Visual Basic and we give it a style. Remember, we have this called style form. We haven't coded this, and we're gonna take a look at that right now and activate so it calls the styling in the user form. All right, let's just quickly review all this. Clears all the text boxes and combo boxes and uncheck all check boxes that might be checked, and it deselect any selections we have in list box and clear the preview. And since we clear the preview, we don't need to deselect this, so this line we don't need it. All right, so now we're gonna code the styling. We're gonna set some styling to the form. So we're gonna write a new module below all this, basically this, called style form. So we're gonna do a private sub style form. Let's add this up a little bit. All right, then we're gonna dim white as long and set white equal VB white. All right, here we are. One more thing. We're gonna remove this, so we're gonna call the style form. The code we just wrote here, where it sets all the colors to the buttons, next button, going back button, and labels. And before testing, let's copy the headers in here. I just copy it here. One final styling here also. You can decide if you want that, but that's just a small twist here, a small tweak here. Let's have the next button with an arrow here on all of them. Let's just add it manually. And the going back button, instead of going back, we just label it with an arrow and then back. Let us also move these two buttons down so they are aligned here, like so. Maybe this more in the middle, and then we can maybe stretch this a little bit. Now it looks good. Yes, now it looks good. And then I actually changed my mind. I don't want to have this button here on the order sheet. So let's just create a new page here and let's call it start. And copy this over, or Control X and Control V here. I just like to have it separate. So now we open the form from this start page and open it up, and the data will go to this sheet. And before we test it, one final adjustment is we want to give the user a message box when we're submitting order, because before the button was in the sheet where the data was written, so you can see the data was going to be written in the sheet, but now we cannot see it. So let's at the end here write a quick message box. And we can just write something very simple. Order has been submitted. And do a VBA information. So now when we click submit, we wouldn't be able to see it because it goes into the other sheet, but we will have a message that confirms that we have submitted the order. And now let's test it. We open form. And the first we can test is Sarah Jensen and her mail and her email, sarah.jensen@example.com. And she's a returning customer type and subscribe to the email list. Let's check that. Go to the next. And her address could be 127 Park view lane. Suite 205. Chicago. IL 60601. And her delivery method, we can pick express and check this box, mark as express delivery. Go to the next page. Then we have the 3 products here, and we can have more, by the way. But let's say we just try to go to the next page here, and then it comes up with please add at least 1 product to order. So it works. Let's just pick one wireless mouse, but let's say we accidentally added 2, and now we have to clear it. Then we can also test the clear items. Are you sure you want to clear all the added items? Yes. Order items cleared. So now we're gonna pick the 1 mouse, and let's just have also 1 keyboard and 1 USB-C docking station. So we have 1 of all of them, and then we pick card as payment method. Additional notes could be please include packing slip with no prices. Gift wrap order, let's check that. Referral code, bring 25. Next, review your order and submit below. Order submitted, custom Sarah Jensen, email sarah.jensen@example.com, shipping express, and the 3 items we selected, 1 of each. Then we can click submit order. Order has been submitted, the message box we just wrote. And then we can just go and click clear all and start all with a new order. Next, and here we have the new order. Review your orders and submit below. And here is the information we just filled in. With the name, the customer name, the email, the shipping was pick up, and the 2 items. The 1 keyboard and the 3 docking stations. Then we click submit order. Order has been submitted. And then we can just close this form, and let's go to the sheet and have a look. So here we have Sarah Jensen with 3 rows because she has 3 items. Her address here, if she subscribed, yes. Express, yes, and she has these 3 items: wireless mouse, Bluetooth, keyboard, and the docking station. 1 of each. She paid by card, and her notes are here. Gift wrap, yes, and the referral code here, and there's also a date and time stamp here in column N. The second entry was James Alvarez. He was a new custom type. His address, it was pickup. It was not express delivery. He had 2 orders, 1 Bluetooth keyboard, and 3 docking stations. And his note here, and gift wrap was unchecked. And here's his referral code and a timestamp. So we can see here it works. So this is how you make a multi-page user form. I hope you like this video, and if you do, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe. I plan to do more video trainings about VBA user forms. Check out my channel because I have a lot of trainings on VBA and how to create these user forms on my channel. So feel free to check them out, and then I will see you in the next video.